Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How long has it been since I've done this type of video? It has been ages. I wanted to talk to you about my recent surgery. As you can see, I've still got some of the plasters on my face at the moment. These are actually coming off tomorrow and I cannot wait. So I'm healing really well. Chest wise, it's a little bit sore when I wake up in the morning, but apart from that it's fine. They are so good. They are so good. And then legs wise, a little bit bruised, a little bit achy, but not too bad. So yeah, it's all going really well. But what I'm gonna do a bit of like a surgery series. So I've had that many people reach out with various questions, loads of support, which actually took me by surprise. A little bit of negativity too, but we're not gonna dwell on that. And I thought, you know what, I need to kind of like break this down because it's going to be too much to do in one video. So a lot of you say, can you sit down and do a YouTube video? And I'd always planned to, but actually thinking about it, it needs to be more in sections. So the first one, this one, is going to be what I had and why. So I have got highlights on my Instagram called surgery, and you can go back through and have a little look on there, but I haven't really kind of like sat down and talked people through it all in terms of like why. And I know I don't have to justify why I've chosen to do these things. It's my body, my, you know, my face. It's completely my choice. But I just thought, you know what? It's just something that I want to do. I want to kind of talk you through it and explain my reasons. So first of all, as probably most of you know that follow me, I did have a breast augmentation over 20 years ago. I was young and I'd lost my 3 stone in 3 months, and I am not joking, this is no exaggeration. My boobs were literally like 2 snooker balls in a pair of socks. So you know, we just drop the balls in and they're just sort of hanging there. Because of my weight loss, because it was so quick and I had quite a big chest before, I was literally left with hardly anything. And sadly, I wasn't in the greatest of relationships when I was younger. And I'd finally got like this weight loss, and I'd got a newfound confidence, and I just wanted to be able to like wear what I wanted to. I wanted to be able to put a bikini on. I wanted to feel confident, you know, getting undressed in front of people. So like partners, I would turn the lights off, I'd wear bras to sleep in. It was just something that, you know, massively affected my confidence, and I thought, God, I really desperately want to do something about this. So I did have the boob job a long time ago now, and sadly it turned out they were PIP implants, which, you know, was a bit of a shock at the time. And I obviously gone on over 20 years. They've got, I hate the word saggy, but they've drooped even more, and they were actually probably worse than what I'd realised. Because I'm in the gym a lot, I'm always in sports bras, so they look quite good. But when I take the bras off, they just like go straight back down again. So I wanted to get them out because of the PIPs, and I also wanted to get them out because they just weren't very, you know, pert anymore, if you like. I don't think I necessarily looked after my first boob job as well as what I could have done. I've got friends that have got incredible boob jobs still after 20 years, and they have really looked after theirs. They've supported them properly, worn bras and stuff all the time, or sports bras, whereas I hadn't. So with the boobs, I just wanted to get the PIPs out, and yeah, that was kind of what sparked this whole journey really. I was always going to do that, but originally the hospital that put the PIP implants in, they were replacing people's implants, but they weren't paying for the removal, they weren't paying for them to go back in, and the quotes I was getting in the UK to have implants removed, scar tissue and stuff sorted out, new implants put back in, and then another uplift were extortionate just for that with a decent surgeon in the UK. And I was just like, oh God, I don't really want to pay that. And I'd put it off for so long because I was then having IVF, and then I had the twins, so I was pregnant, and the last thing I was going to do when I had twins was go and get my boobs done so I couldn't carry my own babies that I'd desperately tried for. So I just kept putting it off, and as I said, I love the gym and I just thought I don't want the downtime. So yeah, anyway, cut a really long story short, I researched loads of different places, and a friend of mine called Tess, you might follow Tess on Instagram, I'll put her Instagram down here. She had been to Nords in Lithuania and she had absolutely raved about it. She went for a completely different procedure to me, but she was the first one to tell me about it. So I joined the Facebook group. I've been in that group, I couldn't even tell you now, but over a year, probably longer. And I've been looking at all these amazing transformations in there, and I was like, oh, shall I go there, shall I not? I don't know. The prices were incredible. I looked at all their work, it was phenomenal. I researched the surgeons, they are absolutely incredible surgeons out there. And I just thought, you know what, I reckon I'm going to go for it. So I started chatting to them and getting some initial consultations in. So I sent pictures of what I looked like previously, and I then had an online consultation with a surgeon. And then I also chatted to a friend, and a friend really wanted to go for her own procedure. And I thought, oh, this is great. Like, I could go with my friend, I wouldn't have to do it on my own. And it just kind of all fell into place. And then I started thinking, I am horrific with anaesthesia. Whenever I'm given anaesthesia, I am violently sick when I wake up, and when I come around, I'm just like so out of it. It really, really affects me. So it's not something I ever want to do. I didn't want to have my boobs done, you know. They had PIP implants in them and I didn't want surgery. That was the last thing I wanted, was to have to go through all that again. But I had no choice, I had to get them out at some point. So I thought, well, while I'm there, I could get a few other things done. So I started researching it, and I will talk you through the other things I've got done and why. So first of all, as you can probably see, blepharoplasty. So I don't know if you can see, it started to heal so good, but blepharoplasty, or your upper eyelids, is just a very small incision on your eyelid, and they just remove a tiny bit of skin and then stitch it back together. Now, I know quite a few people that have had this, and you would never ever know that they'd had it. I also know different celebrities that have had it, and it just makes you look more refreshed. I take really good care of my skin. Like, my skin is actually pretty good for my age. I'm 43, but I had just this really like saggy upper eyelid with like a vein going through it, and I just didn't like it. You know, every time I saw a photo, or I was watching like a video back that I had to film for work or anything like that, it was just something that I was really conscious of. And I knew it was an extremely minor procedure, but it looked really, really good once it was done. So that was something I really wanted to get done in the UK. But I thought, well, while I'm there, I can have it done at the same time. So I added that onto the package, and I am so glad I did. And then I'll talk you through the leg. So I've shared pictures of my lump in my leg on Instagram, and basically it's a fatty lump. On my inner thigh, it was like a solid ball, like you could literally grab it, and it was a solid ball of fat, and I'd had it checked, it was nothing sinister, and it was something that I just thought, God, you know what, no matter what I do, I'm never going to be able to get rid of this lump. So while I was under, I said, please could you remove the lump and just do a bit of like liposuction around the area in my thigh. Liposuction's a bit hit and miss on legs. It can make it look quite lumpy. So at the moment, my thighs actually look a lot bigger than before I went, because they are quite swollen. So he did an incision, took the lump out, and then just did a little tiny bit of liposuction around the area. So fingers crossed that is not going to come back. That would be amazing if that is gone for good. When I wear bikinis and things like that, and actually sometimes if I wear leggings, you could physically see the lump. So anyway, I wanted it gone. Couldn't get it done on the NHS, rightly so, because it was cosmetic, it wasn't actually hurting me. I didn't need it removing necessarily for any medical reasons, so I paid and added that on. And then the final thing was the nose. Oh dear. So this one was probably the most controversial thing that I chose to do, and it was something that I was umming and ahhing about for so long. Now I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I've not liked my nose for a very long time. So in my, was it early 20s, or it might even have been late teens, somebody actually broke my nose, a guy. He broke the top of my nose, and ever since then it just had like a bump in it. It was just like, it always felt like it was like wider from being like swollen when it was broken. It never really went back to how it looked before, and I just I just didn't like it. I didn't like the reminder. I didn't like the look of it. It wasn't something that bothered me like every single day, but if ever I saw a picture of myself, it was the first thing that I would look at is my nose. And I didn't want to change it. I don't want to look like a different person, and I don't think I do. Like, I'm looking at myself now in the camera and I don't think I do look like a different person. I just wanted the bump gone and for it to kind of look like my original nose. So I had a really good chat with the surgeon. I said, look, I don't want to come out looking like a different person. It's got to be very, very subtle. I just want this to be a bit thinner and I want this bump gone. And he was like, oh, great, okay. Probably won't even need to do a break in the nose. Sorry if that makes you squeamish, but I won't even need to break it. We'll just like shave the lump down and just shave a little bit, you know, of the nose down. And that's really minor. So that was why I was able to have it all done in one go. And when you have surgery as a package with Nords, they actually give you a bit of like an overall discount. So for what I paid versus what I would have paid just for my boobs in the UK is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. Like, if you added on the other stuff that I had in Lithuania onto the UK one, I dread to think what it would cost. Probably over 30 grand, and I didn't pay anywhere near that. So your price will depend on what you want, and it would depend on what other things you want to include. But I am not saying that anybody else needs surgery. I wouldn't dream of it. I'm not like influencing people to have surgery. I am simply sharing my own journey and my experiences and kind of like why. And this is like a tiny chapter. Like, I've been doing social media for I don't know how long now, a long time, and this is just a little snippet of like a chapter in my kind of like life that I share. It's not going to be something I'll talk about all the time, but I couldn't have come home and just like carried on as normal and pretended that I'd not had anything done. Like, it just wouldn't have felt right. I have opened up to you guys probably about more things than I've ever opened up to anyone about in my whole life. Like, I've talked before about my infertility journey. Nobody knew about that hardly in my life. I've talked about other things as well, and it's quite personal, but it feels right to share those things with you. So sadly, when you do talk about things, you do get judged, and I have had some judgment, but hopefully people will respect my opinion and my reasons, and, you know, I'll respect their opinion. I'm not gonna, you know, fall out with anyone or dislike anybody just for sharing their views, but I would prefer that they don't, and they just keep them in their heads and carry on. You don't need to write it out to me. Like, one lady was actually like super unkind on my Facebook, and I just instantly block people like that, because I'm not going to spend like hours of my time, because it would have took me hours, because we would have gone back and forth trying to change someone's opinion when it doesn't even matter. Like, she was saying things like, oh, you're a fraud, you're a fake, you're this, you're that, and I was like, oh my god, like, this isn't who I am as a person. Like, I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. Like, I care about people, and I've just made a couple of little tweaks, you know, to myself, for myself. It doesn't define me. It's not my character. Like, it doesn't change who I am. But I just thought, oh, I can't be bothered to like go into a big argument about this. It's so silly. So yeah, I did just block her. So it's up to you, you know, if you want to come at me and give me hate for what I've done, I'm just going to do the same thing again. You know, I'm not going to try and change somebody's mind about things, because I do completely understand that this is not going to be for everybody. And, you know, I completely get it when people say, oh, you know, you didn't necessarily need to do that, or it wasn't, you know, something that you had to do. Well, the boobs were something that I had to do, but the rest of it was my choice, and that's okay. It's okay if you don't want to, and it's okay if you do want to. It's 2024. So I am going to end this video here. I think I've waffled on enough. The next couple of videos will be things like tips on what I took and what I packed and things that I can kind of advise you on now I've actually been there. And then I'll definitely do like a before and after one as well, if that's something you would like to see. Or if you've got any questions or there's anything you want me to include, drop it in the comments box below and I will try my very best to go through them all and make sure I cover them in the next few videos. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you do want to leave a supportive comment, they always are appreciated. So take care and I'll see you soon.